All right. So when we do this, it's the same concept as regular division. So, for example, you don't have to copy this down. Just help me with it. All right. If I have 1234, I'm going to stop because I got people talking. Thank you. If I got 1234 divided by 10, and you want to do this without a calculator, right, this is how you do it, right? And then you say 10 inside the 1, it doesn't go. 10 inside the 12, it would be 1s, right? And then you say 1 times 10 is 10, and you subtract, correct? So you get 2, you bring down the 3. 10 into 23 would be twice. Yes? It's just a little review. We don't need to worry about this. And then subtract, bring down the 4. Bring down the 4. And then that would be 3, which is 30. And then that has a remainder of 4, right? Yay? Exactly. You can write it as a mixed number as well, too, right? What would this be as a mixed number? 123, 4/10. Very good. You can write it like that. So this is what we're doing, but with polynomials. Okay? Sometimes they will have a remainder of 0, but sometimes they will not have a remainder of 0. Brianna, just we'll take care of that in a minute, okay? So just sell whatever you need to sell over here, and then let's sit down. So we'll take care of everything else later. Sometimes it will have a remainder of 0, but sometimes, most cases, it will not have a remainder of 0. Okay, but this is basically what we're doing when we're dividing polynomials. Alrighty? So are we ready for the real thing? All right. No, that was just a little review on how to divide, because we're going to have to do this by hand. Okay? So let's go ahead and with the first one. All right. So the first thing you need to remember is that it needs to be in standard form, so that means it needs to be in order. If it starts with x to the second power, it needs to go to the x and then no x's, okay? Just like what we were doing today with the grouping, right? It needed to be in order, the same thing over here, right? With me? So that's in order. After you check that that's in order, then we go ahead and we put it inside. Yay? All right. X minus 6 cannot go into x squared minus 4 because I have a binomial here, and a binomial cannot go into a monomial. So that means that I need to figure out how many times does x minus 6 go into x squared minus 4x. All right. So what you got to do is you got to put something up here at the top that when you multiply, you eliminate all this when you subtract. Okay? So I need 2 x's. I already have 1. So I'm going to multiply this by x. So x times x, x squared. X times negative 6, negative 6x. Yes? And then what happens when I subtract polynomials? Everything changes, correct? So this is negative, but that one becomes positive. Remember when we were subtracting polynomials? That if you subtracted, everything inside that parentheses comes out as the opposite. Yay? All right, so x squared minus x squared is canceled. And what is negative 4x plus 6x? 2x. And then you're going to bring down the negative 12. Okay? All right, so now, what do I need to multiply that x by so that I can get a 2x over here? 2. A plus 2, right? So 2 times x would be 2x. And then 2 times negative 6 would be negative 12. And then I'm going to subtract, which means that everything is its opposite. And then 2x minus 2x is 0. And negative 12 plus 12 is 0. Okay, so what does that mean? That x minus 6 and x plus 2 are factors of x squared minus 4x minus 12. So for example, if I do this and I do the box, I should get that. So that's another way that you can check that your division is correct. Yes? I'm notice I'm teaching very slow, which is very odd for me. I don't teach this slow, but I do understand that this is a little bit more confusing. So are we good? Ready for the second one? Yes? All right. Okay? Alright, so x squared minus 9x minus 10, and then x plus 1. It doesn't go into x squared, but it should be able to go into x squared minus 2x because it's a binomial inside a binomial. Alright, so I have x squared. I already have an x, so why do I need to multiply that to get that x squared? X. You're trying to eliminate that first term, okay? When you subtract. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is just 1x, right? Then this is negative, and that would be negative, right? I'm just going to go ahead and change it now. Can I do that? Is that okay? Because it's minus. Right, that's canceled, so that would be 0. What's negative 9x and negative x? Negative 10x, right? Bring down the negative 10. Now I need to get rid of that negative 10x. So what am I going to multiply that? I already have that x. Minus 10. It needs to be the same, right? So that when you change it to the opposite, it ends up as 0. Yay? Alright, so negative 10 times x is negative 10x. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. But since I'm going to subtract it, guess what happens? That's a plus, and that's a plus. And what remainder do I have? 0. Okay, so what does this mean? That x plus 1 and x minus 1 are factors of this guy right there. So if you factor that, this is another way of factoring actually. And it's already giving you one of them. It's already giving you one factor and you're looking for the second one. Yay? Alright. Now these are easy because the remainder is 0. So yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you guys think it's easy. That's good. Alright. Alright, so I need to eliminate this first term. I need to eliminate this first term. So what do I need to multiply that x by? Just x squared? Say that again. 2x squared. Very good. I need a 2, I need an x, and I need a cube. I'm sorry, not cube. Squared. You guys told me squared and I put a 3. It's a pain. Alright, so let's see. 2x squared times x. 2x cubed. 2x squared times 4. 8x squared. Alright, when I subtract, that's going to be negative and that's going to be negative. And what happens? Everything cancels out, so you end up with 0x squared, right? Yay? And then you bring down the negative 3x. Yes? Alright, so to get that 0, what do I need to multiply by? Just x? How about what? Somebody said it. How about 0x? Thank you very much. I need to multiply by 0x, which I'm really not going to write 0x in the answer, right? Because if it's 0 x's, you really don't have any x's. But when you're dividing, you're going to go ahead and do it, because if you don't do it, then you're going to mess it up. Alright, so 0x times x would be 0x squared. And 0x times 4 would be what? 0x? 0x times 4, right? It's 4 times 0, which is 0, and x, you got to put it in the answer. Yes or no? With me? Alright, so this is negative and that is negative. It really doesn't matter, right? Because that's 0, and that would be what? No. Negative 3x. And now you bring down the minus 12. Alright, so now I got to get rid of that minus 3x. So what do I need to multiply that x so that I can get minus 3x? Minus 3. Very good. So negative 3 times x is minus 3x. Negative 3 times 4, minus 12. And then I'm going to change the signs. And what's my remainder? 0. So what are my factors? X plus 4. And what's my second factor? 2x squared. Do I really need to write down plus 0x? No, because it's 0 x's. Minus 3. And then when you do the box, you should get that. Every time that timer rings, I think it's somebody's phone. I don't know why. Alright. You ready? I'm going to do one more and then you guys are going to try one on your own. We need a remainder that's not 0. We'll do that in a second. Alright. Two x cubed minus 3x squared minus 19x plus 30. Somebody get that door, please. Alright. I need to get rid of that. Close the door. No. We're tutoring. No. No. I'm sorry, I'm teaching. No. No, I'm not going to edit anything. Alright. So I need 2x cubed. So what do I need to multiply that x by to get 2x cubed? 2x. You see, it's not coming out, so we still don't know this. It's not coming out. I got 1 or 2 people telling me the right answer, but it's not coming out as a chorus. So we don't know this. 2x squared. All right, what's 2x squared times x? 2x cubed. And what's 2x squared times negative 3? No, negative 6x squared. All right. So negative and positive. That would be 0. What's negative 3x squared and 6x squared? There you go. Bring down the 19x. All right, so I need to get rid of that 3x squared. I already have an x. Plus 3x. 3x times x, 3x squared. 3x times negative 3, minus 9x. Very good. Change them. That would be 0. Negative 19x and 9x, negative 10x. Bring down the 30. All right, so I need to get rid of that minus 10x. I already have an x. Not 10. Negative 10. Thank you. Negative 10. It needs to be the same so that when you change it to the opposite, you always get that 0 on that first term. The whole purpose of this is to keep eliminating them, right? All right. Negative 10 times x, negative 10x, and negative 10 times negative 3, plus 30. And then when you change them, it would be a 0. So this has a remainder of 0. So what are my two factors? X minus 3, and then 2x squared plus 3x minus 10. So if you don't want to divide on the test, you can get that factor that I give you, and then A, B, C, D, and try them out. Do the boxes and try them out, and as soon as you get that one in there, you're good to go. Yay? Okay, so I'm going to copy this. I want you to do this on your own. This is number 5. Come on, it's just a half. Oh, stop. Shh, complain. Stop complaining and get to work. Go. Shh. I love my babies, but oh my God, do they complain. Yes. Have I told you that I love you today? I do. I did last week. Stop lying. I did last week. Like you don't know that I love you. Stop it. Oh my goodness. Thank you, whoever said you told us last week. Thank you. Why are you treating me this way? As much as I love you, nobody loves you like I love you, and then you're treating me this way. I love you just as much as your mom. I just didn't give birth to you. All right, let's go. Come on. On your own. Huh? Do what? Of course I'm recording. Nah, we're good. It's just us playing around. We're good to go. Shh. So remember, the purpose is always to eliminate that first one, right? All right, are we good? Yeah, well, even if you haven't finished, we have at least hope that you can at least start, right? All right. We'll find out in a minute. We'll find out in a hot minute. All right. So I want to eliminate, I want to get rid of 4x cubed. I already have an x, so I need to multiply this by 4x squared. And this would be 4x cubed. 4 times, half of 4 would be 2x squared, right? Then I'm going to change. That's 0. That's negative 10x squared, right? Bring down the negative 3x. Negative and negative. You add them up, right? All right. So to get rid of that minus 10x squared, I already have an x. That would be minus x. Minus 10x, I'm sorry, not x, minus 10x. Minus 10x times x is negative 10x squared. And negative 10x times a half of 10x's would be 5x's. So multiplying by a half is really easy. So this would be positive and that would be negative. That is 0. Negative 3x and negative 5x would be negative 8x. Bring down the 1. You don't speed when you do this because you mess it up. You take your time. Did you hear me, Elito? You take your time. Did you hear Brian? And then we mess it up. All right, so yes, I'm sorry. So this would be negative, right? So let's fix it. This is supposed to be negative because negative 10 times a half would be minus. And then this would be 5, which means that changes, right? That's not going to be minus 8x. It's going to be 2x. Thank you, Juan. All right, so to get rid of that 2x, I already have an x. Plus 2. Oh, I'm sorry, Martin. I'm sorry. We got to give credit to who it deserves. All right, so 2 times x, 2x, and half of 2 will be 1. Minus, minus. So the remainder would be 0. So my two factors are x plus 1/2. There you go. Those are my two factors. All right, are we good? Let's do remainders now. Let's do remainders now. All right, this is number 6. Actually, let's do this one first. This has a remainder of 0. But what do we have to do on this one? We got. Thank you, Karen. Karen says you have to arrange them. She needs 100 points on her family. Yep, you're absolutely right. So she says we need to arrange them. All right, so when I write it inside the house so that I can divide it, I'm going to go ahead and arrange them. Which one needs to come first? Y to the 4th. Then comes cubic. 24y squared 32y and then plus 16. All right. All right, so to eliminate that y4, I need to multiply by y3. So that will be y to the fourth power plus 2 y to the third power, correct? All right, what do I do now? I'm going to subtract. Very good, Tom. That means I'm going to switch the signs. Very good. All right, what is this? They 0. And what is 8y to the third minus 2y to the third? 6y to the third. And then let's bring down the 24. All right, so talk to me about what I need to multiply to get rid of that 6y to the third. 6y squared. Very good. 6y squared. All right, so 6y squared times y is 6y cubed plus 12y squared. This is a lot of work, but it's really not hard work. It's just time consuming, but it's not brain consuming at all. No, there's not too many of these. You might find 3 or 4. All right, so that will be 0. And then what's 24y squared minus 12 squared? 12y squared. Bring down the 32y. All right, multiply by what? 12y. There you go. You're getting the hang of it. So it'll be 2y squared plus 24y minus minus. Yep, switch the signs. 12y? 8, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I can't do math. That's sad. Plus 16? Plus 8. There you go. 8y? No, plus 16. Well, when you switch, both of them are negative. And that will be a remainder of 0. So my two factors, I'm not going to copy the factors, but my two factors are that one and that one at the top. So if you want to make sure that you did it right, you can do boxes for this. All right, let's do remainder now. Let's do remainder. Oh, yes, we're going to do remainder and something else at the same time. Woo. What number is this one? 7? All right. All right. So even though that is in order, it's not in standard form. Why do I say that? This is in order, but it's not in standard form. Why not? What do you mean it's not separated? All right, so I'm going to say it again. I need you to take a look at it. Don't just say the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Stop and think for a minute, okay? This is in order, but it's not in standard form. Look at it, compare it with the other ones you got, and tell me why not. What do you mean by it's shorter? Thank you. Thank you, Hector. There's no y to the third power. There's no number either, correct? So give your family 100 points. So because it's not written in standard form, we're going to have to add those terms. Okay? So when we put it inside, we're going to say y to the fourth plus 0y to the third because we don't have any, correct? Does that make sense? We don't have any, but yet we're writing it so that it's easier for us to divide. Then minus y squared. Then minus 6y. And then plus 0 because it doesn't have a number. It needs to have a number as well. And we're going to divide this by y squared minus 2. Alright, so to get rid of this one, y what? Y squared. Why am I putting it on top of the y squared? It's kind of like when you divide and you line them up, okay? It's the same concept. Alright, so what's y squared times y squared? Y to the fourth. And then what's negative 2 times y squared? Why did I write it over here and not in the middle? Because that's just y0, y3. Very good. That's y cubed. It's not. Alright, so that cancels. I don't have any of those, so I'm good to go. But what is negative y squared plus 2y squared? Y squared. And then bring down the negative 6y. Thank you. Plus 1. And I'm going to write it all the way over here because that's where the number is. You can write it right beside it. It's okay if you want to. Just make sure that you don't get confused. Alright, so 1 times y squared would be y squared. I got to bring down that 0, don't I? So that I can put that number that I'm getting ready to multiply. What's 1 times negative 2? Alright, so this is negative, and that is positive. That is 0. But then what happens here? You got to bring it down. It goes down. You got to take it down to your answer. Very good. So that'll be negative 6y. Yes, thank you. So what is 0 plus 2? 2, right? Oh, Lord. All right. So we have a remainder. What's my remainder? Negative 6y plus 2. So this is written a different way. Let's go back to our first example. How do you read this? 123 and 4/4, right? What does the word and mean in math? What is the word and? Somebody said it. I heard it. I don't know who said it, but I heard it. Alright. Nobody wants to say it again, but somebody said it because I heard it. Okay, so when I say yours and mine, so what math operation does that mean? Addition. This is 123 wholes and then 4 out of 10, right? So you can technically also write it like this. Correct? 123 and 4 tenths. You got $123 and then 4 tenths. Yes? 4 dimes? Yay? It is. It is. Because you divided. It's 0.4. You got it. Yay? Alright, so let's go back to our problem and see how we write it. But we're going to take this as our key. Okay, my first factor is y squared minus 2, right? What's my second factor? Yes, plus, you got it. Now, remember, it is 123 and 4 tenths, right? So I got to go down, which is negative 6y plus 2. And then I got to go to this corner, which is y squared minus 2. Now, you are probably going to see it like this on the test. Without the first one. You're probably going to see it like this, without the first one. Because they're going to ask you, what's the second factor of that division? So you're probably going to see it like this. All right. What number was that one? All right, let's go. All right, so I need to eliminate x cubed. So I already have an x. X squared. Thank you. What you need, right? X squared times x would be x cubed minus 3x squared. Okay? All right, what would this be? This is 0. 7x squared. Bring down the 5x. All right, what do I need to multiply that for? 7x. 7x times x would be 7x squared. And 7x times negative 1? Negative 3, I'm sorry. Negative 21x. That will be 0. Negative 5x and plus 21x. 16x. Bring down the 5. Okay? So plus 16. 16x, is that 40 something? No. Yeah, 48. Is that 48? Can somebody double check? Is it 48? Yes, thank you. So this would be minus and that would be plus. So 16x and negative 16x is 0. But what is 5 and 48? 53. All right, so let's write it the right way. Because we have a remainder, so we got to do that plus, right? What's my fraction? There you go. 53 plus x minus 3. You don't have to add the parentheses. I add them just to keep them together, but you really don't have to. All right. Can we try one on our own? One of these with the remainder? Yes? What number is that? 19? All right. Standard form, so you're good to go. You got all your terms, so you're good to go. You just need to divide. The only scary thing is that fraction, but you have a calculator, so it shouldn't be that bad. Yeah. Yes, sir. I would just use the calculator to multiply by that fraction, right? But this whole section is a lot of things that we don't need the calculator for. Factoring we really don't need the calculator for, just a little bit but not much. This is the same thing. This is algebra the way that I used to do algebra without a calculator. So you multiply by 2/3 x, right? Yes? And then minus and minus. Alright, so this is where you're going to have to go ahead and use the calculator, right? Or you can add them and that becomes 3 and 2/3 x's. Because you're adding them because they're the same sign. Is that correct? Plus 2. I would change that to a mixed improper fraction. So 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2, 11/3 x plus 2. Yes? With me? And then I'm going to have to multiply by 11/3, right? So this would be 11/3 x plus 11/3 minus minus. See, I would use the calculator now because I don't want to subtract those. So I would just actually just write it like you see it. 2 minus 11/3, right? So write it just like you see it, guys. 2 minus 11/3, right? Negative 5/3. Alright, so this is a little tricky to write. So my second factor would be 2/3 x plus 11/3 plus divided by x plus 1. Oh, there's a negative. Or you can put the negative in front of it. You can put the negative here, not plus. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So I can put a minus 5/3 divided by x plus 1. I can put the minus over here. It doesn't have to be right beside the fraction. Do we understand what I'm trying to say? No? Yay? Alright.